सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ओम बोलो स्वामी सद्गुरु शिवानंद महाराज की जय। ओम बोलो स्वामी विष्णुदेवानंद महाराज की जय। हरि ओम तत्सत। Om Namah Shivaya. I offer my pranams to the lotus feet of our masters. I pray masters give us all the understanding. It's Swami who speaks. It's Swami who listens through all of us. Hari Om Tatsat. Good. We are in chapter 4 in slokam number 27. Before we get into the slokam 27, there was a question yesterday to talk about suppression and control. We'll take few minutes and then we'll proceed to slokam number 27. So in the yesterday in one of the sloka and in many slokas in chapter 2 and chapter 3 also, Master clearly said that suppression is not a good idea. So this person has asked, what is the difference between the suppression and controlling the mind? So while suppressing a desire, while suppressing them, it gives a vehement reaction in your body. When a sense desire is suppressed, our mind becomes turbulent. Instead of sublimating, it becomes turbulent and it becomes uncontrollable. And when a desire is suppressed, then what happens is, for that moment it can be suppressed, but for sure it comes back again and attack you once again. So instead, if we control our sense organs, then controlling the sense organs helps us to thin our mind. And when the mind is better controlled, then it leads us to dharana and dhyana. And how do we control our sense organs? There are various processes that's been discussed in various slokas. To touch upon it, Master says that pranayama, asana, vairagya, vicharana, right inquiry, and reducing the desires. It's not completely removing all the desires, slow and steady, reducing the desires, visiting temples, performing puja, reading scriptures, attending satsangs. All these will help us to control the mind, and it calms your mind. It directs you into the right path. When we slow and steadily, when we do this, when we listen to all this shravanam and mananam, when we contemplate and on all this knowledge, then nididhyasanam, meditating on all this knowledge, will help us to get into the right spiritual path. So we need to be regular in these practices. It is not that, I have joined a asana class and today and in a week's time this all are going to happen. No, it is not going to happen in a week, or it's not going to happen in a month. On a consistent, regular practice, on consistently visiting temple, on consistently reading the scriptures, itihasams and puranams and all this, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, reading Bhagavad Gita, all these will help for our mind to get controlled. So instead of suppressing will only make turbulent in our body and mind. And we will never be free of these when we suppress our desires. So the desire that is suppressed will keep attacking you again and again, and it will make your mind completely into restlessness. There is no point in running away from the problem. The more you run away from the problem will keep chasing you. So instead, sublimate these through divine thoughts, through prayers, satsang, scriptures, singing of God, kirtan, chanting God's name, japam. And Master also says Likita Japam. What is Likita Japam? You write Bhagwan's name daily, 1 page or 108 times, whatever it is that you can decide that you write. When you do a Likita Japam, that all helps for this meditation. And finally get into this meditation. All these will help for your mind to withdraw. And this helps to control the mind. So suppressing is not a good. Suppressing the desires, suppressing your sense organs desires will only keep attacking you and make you restless. It will not help you to become calm for your meditation purpose. I hope this clarify your query. If you have little more query, please keep writing to us. Slokam number 27. Sarvanindriya karmani pranakarmani chapare atma samyamayo yapmayo gagno juhvati jnana deepite. Atma samyamayo gagno. Samyam means discipline. This discipline, it comes through understanding. It's just not discipline. It's discipline that is coming through understanding. Jnana deepite. When we restrain, when we control our senses through our willpower, then we can control them through this understanding. The first point, the first step is through willpower. Through discipline, we control. In Patanjali Yoga Sutra says, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, Yo, Ashtanga, Agni. They are 8 parts, 8 limbs. And Pratyahara, this withdrawal of senses, comes after Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama. It's just not straight away, we will not be able to withdraw our senses and do all this. It comes through step by step. So, Master says that go through the step, Yama Niyamas. It's very, very important. Yama Niyamas, do's and don'ts, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara. And when you get into, after passing through these steps, when you get into this Pratyahara, withdrawal of senses, and that leads us to Dharana. Dharana is one-pointedness, and from there it leads you to Dhyana and Samadhi. So step by step we go through. Patanjali Maharishi clearly explains these various steps through which we can get into this withdrawal of senses. Pratyahara is withdrawal of the Indriyas from the objects. So it's not just like that easy. Straight away we will not be able to withdraw that from the objects. Go through step by step. So the nature of Indriyas is getting connected to the objects. That is his natural way. The nature of our Indriyas is to get connected with the objects. Whenever our mind turn towards something, Bahirmukha, turn towards outside, then the vritti, immediately our mind gets engaged in that. So that is the most important anga. That is the most important in the yoga sadhana. The anga is which? Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama. That is 5th one. That is the most important anga. Once this withdrawal of senses, Pratyahara, happens, then it helps us to get into the other stages. So to practice Pratyahara gives mastery over senses, and to get into this practice of Pratyahara, we will have to go through various steps. So by proper understanding, we will have to withdraw our mind from thinking about the various objects. Straight away keep telling your mind, no, don't get connected with this object, don't get connected with this object. It doesn't work like that. With proper understanding, we will have to guide the mind to get away from the objects. So whenever a mind see an object, and immediately there is a desire that's happening. Whenever we pass through a sweet shop or an ice cream shop, our mind thinks that, it's been a long time that we need to have an ice cream. So it just a desire happens. That time, just question that desire. Oh, is it right? Then through proper inquiry, just say that, control over the senses and keep moving on. So withdraw the attention from the worldly needs object through pratyahara. Focusing our mind on positive things, then that one-pointedness, that dharana comes. And when that one-pointedness dharana comes, it helps, it effortlessly it takes us to the next step, dhyanam. And this from dhyanam we get into this samadhi stage. So, sarvanindriya karmani, prana karmani chapare. All our activities. The sense organs are jnana indriyas and the organs of actions are prana indriyas. So, with proper understanding, that makes our mind more and more calm and more peaceful. Okay. So, we need to restrain these sense organs, this eyes, ears, skin, tongue. Keep feeding the positive things to these sense organs. That helps us to quieten our mind, and that is the sadhana. The mind has to be still with that understanding. Okay, so all the activities all the activities of the senses and this prana is restrained or is controlled only through knowledge. Slokam number 28. Dravya yajnastapo yajnaha yoga yajnastatapare swadhyaya jnana yajnascha yataya samstitavrataha. Bhagavan here tells 5 more yajnas that we can practice. Okay, dravya yajna. Dravya yajna means, dravyam means materials. So whatever the possession that we have, whatever the wealth that we have, the material goods that we have, keep dravya yajna, keep sharing. When you do the dana, when you give it to others, then that purifies your mind. So Bhagavan says, keep giving. Whatever that you have, whatever the talent that you have, the time that you have, the food that you have, the money that you have, whatever wealth that you have, whatever material goods that you have, keep giving, keep sharing. Swami Shivananda says that sharing is the secret of abundance. Keep sharing, and that sharing, that keep giving will purify your mind. When you keep possessing physically, mentally, intellectually, when you keep always possessing things, it makes you get into that shell. Keep giving, keep giving. That giving will purify the mind. Dravya yajna. Dravya yajna, tapo yajna. Tapo yajna, tapas means austerity. What kinds of austerity? There are 3 kinds, Master says here. Saririk, Vachik, Manasik. Saririk, by the body. If at all you can do any service, keep doing the service to the teacher, serve to the devatas. Keep all kind of service that this body can do to anybody. Saririk. Vachik tapas. Vachik means the words, the tongue, the words that you use out of this tongue. Adi Shankara says, Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat. Anudrega karam vakyam means not even, your words should not even create any disturbance in anybody's mind. Like that you should speak. That should not harm, that should not create any disturbance. If the usage of words is going to create some disturbance to somebody, you should not use such words to create that disturbance in anybody's mind. Satyam, always speak the truth. If you don't know it is true, if you have a doubt whether it is truth, it is satyam or asatyam, it is better to keep quiet. So satyam. Priyahitam. Priyam means kind words, sweet words. Speak hitam, accept beneficial words. All these you need to have it as a tapas, as an austerity. Vachik tapas. Through truthfulness in speaking, to agreeability, that it is not going to harm anybody, beneficial, check if it is beneficial to the words that you are using, is it beneficial to anybody, then non-harming, without any harm to anybody. Whatever that you speak should not harm to anybody. Then that becomes the austerity of speech. Sariram, through saririk, through vachik, austerity of speech, austerity of the body. That is by doing service to the teacher, service to the devatas, performing more yajnas and all this, and austerity of speech. The third one, manasik. Always keep your mind happy. Treat your mind with positive things. It is your responsibility to keep your mind happy. It is not somebody else can trigger your mind and make you upset. Do not give that control to anybody else, to anything else, to the outside world. It is your responsibility to keep your mind all the time happy. If your mind is little unstable, or if you're getting restless or dull, or if you understand that your mind is not happy and you're not treating, you have to treat your mind. Treat your mind with the sadhana. Read scriptures, read the Itikasam and Puranams, and visit temple, perform puja, and write Likita Japa, chant God's name. All this will keep your mind happy. Indirectly it helps you to keep your mind get back to the form and get into the happy state. No one else can make you unhappy, or nothing else in this world can make you unhappy unless you give that permission to that person, unless you give the permission to that object to make you unhappy. So sariram, saririk, vachik and manasik. It is our responsibility to keep it, to keep this tapas, to keep this austerity. Tapo yajna. Third one is yoga yajna. Yoga yajna is our Ashtanga yoga. The yama, niyamas, asanas and pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, all these are classified under Ashtanga yoga, 8 limbs. All these are classified under Ashtanga yoga, and that is yoga yajna. Performing this yoga yajna, there is another sadhana Bhagavan is explaining, that it helps to calm your mind, to control your senses. Yama niyama, very very important. Our master says that first we need to address this yama and niyama. We will not be getting in detail, we will just know what are the yamas and niyamas. If you want to get into these details, you can read the scriptures and find out. Yamas are practice of right conduct. What are there? There are 5 yamas. There are some scriptures which gives 10 yamas also, but we take the 5 yamas from Patanjali Yoga Sutra. The 5 yamas is non-violence, which is ahimsa, non-violence. Truthfulness, satya, always speak the truth. Non-stealing, asteya. Self-control, brahmacharya, having legitimate sex. Aparigraha, non-possession of things, non-accepting gifts, not getting greedy, aparigraha. So these are 5 yamas which are helpful when you observe this. It helps us to get, if we practice this, it gets us into the right conduct. What are the niyamas? Niyamas are to practice purity, the practice of purity, internal and external. Saucha, cleanliness. Santosha, contentment. Tapas, austerity. Swadhyaya, self-study. And the last one is Ishvara Pranidhana, completely surrendering to God. So these helps to purify. So these are the practice of purity. So these yamas and niyamas are the first step that we need to get into, and we need to follow these. And once we get into that, then it helps us to get into this asana and pranayama. And when you get into this asana and pranayama, be very careful, get into the right teacher. Do not get into some hanky-panky stuff. Get into the right teacher, learn properly these asanas and pranayama. Certainly adhering to this yama, niyama, asana and pranayama will help us to control our senses, and that will lead us to the fifth step of pratyahara, which is withdrawal of senses. So that is called yoga yajna. The other one is swadhyaya yajna, which is swadhyaya means chanting the scriptures. We might see many in our ancestors, in our people, our grandfathers or our grandparents, they would be chanting slokas. All the time they will keep some chanting slokas, or they will have some discipline to read Sundarakandam. They will have some discipline to read Srimad Bhagavatam. So read scriptures, listening to the scriptures, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, all, chanting of scriptures, daily deep study of the scriptures, daily chant the stotrams of Lalita Sahasranamam, Vishnu Sahasranamam, Aditya Hridayam, all this. There are a lot of stotrams that will help us to purify our mind. These all come under Swadhyaya Yajna, the chanting of scriptures, chanting, reading of scriptures, or chanting Bhagavan's name, and daily chant Om, the universal mantra, or God's name, bhajans, all these, self-study, these all comes under this Swadhyaya Yajna. The last is Jnana Yajna, knowledge. Here comes, once we acquire, knowledge is just not information. Knowledge is understanding. Once we get into this listening to those scriptures, listening is not just hearing. Listening is with understanding. We listen to the scriptures, we study to the scriptures, and mananam, we contemplate, we understand the meaning of those scriptures, and nididhyasanam, then we meditate upon it. So that gets into the knowledge. Jnana yajna, sacrifice of knowledge. So Bhagavan says, yatayaha samstita vrataha, those seekers, through this effort also they can do their sadhanas. What is dravya yajna? Offering materials. Through austerity, saririk, vachik and manasik, and yoga yajna by following Ashtanga yoga. Swadhyaya Yajna by reading scriptures and chanting Bhagwan's name, by chanting slokams, and Jnana Yajna by knowledge, Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasanam. So when we understand this and when we do this as sadhana, just not doing it, follow it sincerely. Take it as a pratigna, take a oath, take a vow that strictly I will adhere to this, and that will help our mind more and more pure. Slokam number 29. Apane juhvati pranam, prane panam tatapare, prana panagati rudhva, pranayama parayana. Bhagavan talks about the pranayama here. Pranayama is a two-letter word. Controlling the pranayama is controlling the pranayama. Here he talks about the technique of breath control. Technique of this breath control. This helps when you know to get that technique of controlling the breath. That helps the seeker to keep himself in the perfect control of senses. When the seeker moves into the world outside, even in the midst of materials in and around him or her, that seeker can get into this perfect control by pranayama. Bhagavan is talking about this pranayama. That controls the pranayama, the breath control, directly gets us the control over the sensory objects. Prana means just not the breath. Many have the misunderstanding that prana means it's a breath. Prana is just not the breath. Prana is the link between this body and the mind. You can see the effect of our mind directly in this body. Okay? Sometimes if we get angry, immediately we can see that reflection in our body. The body will say, when you are angry for a longer period of time, that that the body will speak to you that some parts are not under easiness. Some parts are not under easy. It reflects in your body. If you have some problem, if you have anxiety, if you have stress, then that clearly reflects on your body. So this prana, this has a direct link between this mind and body. The pranayama is the most ancient way the yogis and our rishis have followed to control the breath. The breath control, the technique of that breath control helps us to control the sense objects. So through this pranayama, the breath control, we come to gain the perfect mastery over the senses. And there are 4 aspects in this breathing. Breathing in, when we take the breath in, we call it as puraka. When we breathe out, we call it as when the breathing is held, and that is kumbhaka. When it is held externally, it is bahikumbhaka. When the breathing is held internally, it is called antaka kumbhaka. So this process of this puraka, rechaka and kumbhaka, when it is practiced, there is a certain ratio to practice this. These are all prescribed in our scriptures. All these ratios and everything is clearly prescribed in our scriptures. So when we follow this ratio, then it becomes a technique to control the breath. When we learn this pranayama, we need to learn this from the proper reputed teacher. We should not do this as just like that. We should not do this pranayama. We need to learn the technique and clearly follow the technique and get into this pranayama. There is a technique some learn to offer this pranayama. So some learn to offer the outgoing breath into the incoming breath, and they learn the incoming breath to offer to the outgoing breath. There is a technique to offer. Some seekers, they follow the path of offering the outgoing breath into the incoming breath. The others, they offer the incoming breath to the outgoing breath. So all this we need to learn from the proper teacher to get into this techniques. But this technique certainly helps for the seeker to gain the mastery over the senses. Sometimes we get stuck with some thoughts. Some thoughts will be in our mind. We will not even know what it is. And it will not go away easily. It will be troubling us all the time. But with this pranayama technique, we'll be able to get rid of such thoughts from our mind, and our mind will become more and more calm and peaceful. And definitely this pranayama will be very effective, and it is a powerful sadhana. Bhagavan Krishna says that pranayama is a powerful sadhana, and our body and mind is directly controlled by this prana. Slokam number 30. We don't have the time to read slokam number 30. We'll reserve slokam number 30 to tomorrow. With this, we'll end today's session. If any of us want little more clarity for any of the sloka or any of the terminologies that we use, please give a message and we will address that on the next class. Good. Keeping our back straight, close our eyes gently. We'll chant Om 3 times. Om. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. ॐ peace peace peace. Salutations to our masters. Om Bolo Swami Sadguru Shivananda Maharaj ki jai. Om Bolo Swami Vishnu Devananda Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thanks for joining the session. See you tomorrow, same time, 4 o'clock. Enjoy a beautiful evening.